The two sons of planet Solario were high in the sky, shining down on the most beautiful building in the galaxy, the Crystal Dome. It was the place where the Great Peace Summit was being held. This was not a normal meeting. It was history. Leaders from many worlds had come. Rich businessmen, alien generals, royal families, and even celebrities filled the golden halls. It was the biggest gathering since the Galactic War ended 10 years ago. Red carpets rolled across shining white floors. Floating lights danced in the air. Waiters in silver suits served food from across the stars. And then, through the heavy main gates, walked a stranger. He wore a long brown cloak, old and dusty. His boots were worn out. His head was held low, and he carried no bags, no bodyguards, no ID tags, just a quiet face and steady steps. His name was Abraham. The guards at the entrance laughed the moment they saw him. "Hey, Summit's over there, farmer," said one, pointing the other way. Another guard squinted. "Maybe he's a janitor? He's got to be a cleaner, or someone's lost helper." Abraham said nothing. He reached into his coat and pulled out a glowing pass. The pass shimmered gold and floated above his hand like magic. It had the Galactic Peace Seal, real, rare, and official. The guards stopped laughing. One scanned it. The small screen beeped green. "It's real," the guard mumbled. "Must be a system glitch. Let him through. But watch him." As Abraham walked into the hall, heads turned. He didn't fit in. The people inside wore glowing clothes, robotic jewelry, and floating perfumes. His plain outfit made him look like a shadow in a room of stars. A rich woman with metal wings whispered, "Who let this nobody in?" A robot general scanned him and chuckled. "No title, no records, just a name, Ibrahim? That's it." A group of alien kids laughed. Did someone lose their servant? Even the waiters skipped past him with their silver trays, offering no drinks, no food. But one man noticed. Vin Diesel, Earth's ambassador, stood near the giant window, watching everything. He had seen many men pretend to be more than they were, but Ibrahim was pretending to be less. Vine narrowed his eyes. Something was off. Then, suddenly, the lights flickered. The air turned cold. The floating music stopped. Red lights blinked across the walls. Giant screens turned to static. Then came the voice. "Warn enemy. CBRATACKDTSTTD. System BUESH in progress. Panic. Security bots activated. Weapons locked. Guards shouted. Leaders were rushed to safety pods. Drones flew overhead. Screams echoed as people ducked. "Shut the doors. Get the president out. No signal. Our comms are down." But one person stayed calm. Abraham. He walked slowly toward a side wall, where an old manual control panel was hidden behind a plant. "Hey, stop!" a guard yelled. But Ibrahim didn't stop. He placed his hand on the panel. Nothing happened for a second. Then, the panel lit up, glowing with strange blue symbols. He closed his eyes. His fingers moved quickly, pressing buttons no one else understood. The symbols danced. A loud hum shook the floor. Suddenly, the alarm stopped. The lights returned. Screens flashed green. A calm voice echoed. "System restored. Cyber threat neutralized." Silence filled the room. Everyone stared at Ibrahim. A general whispered, "What just happened?" A royal ambassador muttered, "Did he just stop the attack?" Some clapped. Others looked confused. Most were still unsure. "He just got lucky," someone said. "Probably hit the right button by accident." "Beginner's luck." Vin Diesel stepped forward, eyes sharp. "No," Vin said softly. "That wasn't luck." He walked up to Abraham. "What's your name?" he asked. "Abraham," the young man said calmly. "Where did you learn to use a panel like that?" Vin asked. Ibrahim looked at him for a long second. Then he answered, "My mother taught me the old ways, the ones before the war." People around gasped. "The old ways?" a senator repeated. A woman in a glowing crown whispered, "No one teaches those anymore." Vine nodded slowly, deep in thought. Ibrahim turned to walk away, back to the edge of the room. But as he moved, a sharp voice shouted behind him, "Hey, Favorise!" Everyone turned. It was Commander Raith, head of Summit Security. He marched toward Ibrahim, weapon raised. "You're not supposed to be here," he growled. "Who are you really?" "I already told you," Ibrahim said softly. Raith stepped closer, grabbing Ibrahim's cloak. In one harsh motion, he pulled it open. Gasps filled the room. Under the cloak, on Ibrahim's chest, was a glowing golden emblem, a symbol lost to time, a star with 3 moons orbiting it. Old, powerful, and sacred, the symbol of the forgotten kingdom of Dara Prime. Everyone froze. Ibrahim looked Raith in the eyes and said in a calm, clear voice, "You just touched someone protected by Galactic Code 17. The courtroom was frozen. No one spoke. No one even moved. Nova, the quiet black woman they laughed at, now sat behind the high desk, the judge's bench, a place meant for the most powerful law officers in the galaxy. The reporters didn't blink. Cameras zoomed in. The word LIVE flashed on hundreds of screens. Deputy Kroll stood like a statue. His hand still tingled from when he ripped her coat. His face was pale. The sweat on his forehead began to show. Nova pressed one button on the desk. The robotic voice returned, activating security record. All courtroom data now sealed. Officer Kroll under temporary investigation. Suddenly, 4 black armored robots entered from the side wall. Silent, fast. They surrounded Kroll. He stuttered. Wait, I didn't know," she never said. Nova didn't raise her voice. "You acted without reason. You used force to humiliate. You violated a court witness." Kroll shouted, "But you didn't look like a judge. You tricked us." Nova looked down at the desk, then back up. "And how should a judge look, officer?" Silence. One of the reporters, a man in a silver jacket, raised his hand. "Is this real?" he whispered. "Is she a real galactic judge?" Nova looked toward him and gave a small nod. The crowd gasped again. In the far back, a group of wealthy lawyers began whispering quickly. "She wasn't on the list," one said. "She wasn't in the database," another replied. "She's from the sealed branch, the Ethics Corps." Everyone knew the Ethics Corps, but no one had seen them for decades. They judged not with laws, but with truth, and they only came when something was deeply wrong. Kroll finally spoke again. I didn't mean to harm her. It was a mistake," he said quickly. But Nova pressed another button. The screen behind her showed a video, security footage. It replayed everything from 10 minutes ago. Every word, every laugh, every insult. Everyone saw Kroll rip her coat. Everyone saw the crowd laughing. No one could deny it now. Galactic Code 17, Nova said clearly, was created after the AI-human wars. It protects certain judges and peacekeepers whose identities must stay hidden for safety. She paused. But it does not protect those who hurt them. Kroll fell to his knees. "I'm sorry. Please, I didn't know." The guards looked at Nova, waiting for her order. But she didn't give one yet. Instead, she stood up and looked at the audience. "Why did no one stop him?" she asked. "Why did you all laugh?" "Because I didn't look like I belonged." The audience lowered their heads. Nova walked slowly to the center of the room. Her voice was calm, but heavy. "This courtroom is supposed to be for justice, not for jokes, not for showing off, and certainly not for hate." She turned to the lawyers who had laughed earlier. "You are here to defend laws, not protect pride. Today, you all failed." A female lawyer stood, nervously fixing her hair. "Your Honor, we were just confused." Nova held up her hand. "No more excuses." She turned back to Kroll. "I will not sentence you yet," she said. "But you are no longer a deputy. Your badge is void." One of the robots stepped forward and removed the badge from Kroll's chest. He didn't fight. He just sat on the floor shaking. Nova turned back to her desk. "I came here as a witness, but now I will be your judge." Everyone watched as she took her seat again. Then she looked at the file on the screen. The corruption case. Nova's eyes narrowed. It wasn't just about Kroll. There was something deeper going on here. And she was about to expose all of it. Nova sat straight behind the judge's bench. The courtroom was silent, except for the soft hum of the holo screens. People didn't know whether to leave, speak, or breathe. She stared at the glowing file in front of her. Case number 88, Hex G. The People vs. Echelon Corp. Charge: illegal mine surveillance, AI abuse, and bribery. Nova whispered to herself, I knew it. The moment she said that, the lead defense lawyer, a tall man in a white suit named Malrik Zor, stood up. His fake smile was back on. Your Honor, perhaps we can continue this another day. Clearly, this has become unusual. Nova didn't look up. She scrolled through the evidence with one hand and said calmly, You work for Echelon Corp, correct? Malrik smiled. Yes. But I'm just a legal guide. I'm not part of any. Nova tapped again. The screen behind her lit up with a secret document. Transfer log. 1.2 million credits wired from Echelon Corp to Malrik Zor. The crowd gasped. Malrik stepped back. That's fake. It must be edited. Nova looked at him. Her eyes were calm, but strong. This file is from the Ethics Corps' secure system. It can't be edited, not even by the High Council. He froze. At the back of the room, one of the robotic guards whispered something to Nova through her earpiece. She nodded slowly. Then she stood. The case today was supposed to be a small one, a witness reporting AI abuse at a factory. But when I saw the names involved, I came myself. In secret. Because this case is bigger than any of you thought. The holo wall behind her changed again. Now it showed a list of names. Judges, officers, even some council members. All had received money from Echelon Corp in the last 6 months. People in the courtroom covered their mouths. Echelon isn't just abusing AI workers, Nova said. They are spying on citizens. They are stealing memories. They are controlling decisions with bribes. One man stood up in the crowd and shouted, My sister worked for them. She disappeared last year. Another woman cried, They erased my husband's memories after he filed a complaint. The room began to shake with noise. People were no longer silent. They were angry. Malrik tried to leave, but the robots blocked the door. Nova pointed to him. You are not free to go. She looked across the room. None of the guilty are free to go. Suddenly, one of the wealthy lawyers made a run for it, but a force field locked the exit. Nova turned to the crowd. This court is now under Galactic Code 9, Emergency Ethics Review. All doors locked. A red glow filled the room. Everyone was trapped. Nova sat back down. She looked at Malrik, then at the crowd. I gave you all a chance to tell the truth, but now I will show it myself. One more tap, and the walls began to display hidden camera feeds, secret messages, and files showing years of corruption. And Nova? She wasn't done yet. This wasn't just about the courtroom anymore. She was about to change the whole system. The courtroom sat frozen. Every wall now showed evidence, secret bribes, missing workers, deleted files. And Nova stood at the center like a calm storm. Deputy Kroll, the racist officer who had ripped her coat earlier, watched in fear. He didn't understand who she really was. Not yet. One of the reporters whispered to another, Where did she come from? The answer came sooner than they expected. A soft chime echoed. A hidden file unlocked itself on the main screen. Toplevelcqritcleranc. Nove A sovereign. Gasps filled the room. A small girl in the back asked, Did that say sovereign? A sovereign was not just a title. It meant royal blood, direct ties to the original galactic founders. People who could override planetary law, control fleets, and bring entire governments to trial. Nova didn't deny it. She simply turned and faced the screen. I was born on Aris 9, she said, her voice steady. My mother was Queen Ilara Ayama, the last sovereign of the Outer Ring. People stared in disbelief. I left the royal palace after the fall, she continued. I changed my name. I lived in shadows. I cleaned floors, served food, and traveled alone. Because I needed to know how the people were treated when no one watched. And now I see. She turned toward Deputy Kroll. Not much has changed. Kroll stepped back. His hand hovered near his weapon. But Nova wasn't scared. She raised her wrist, showing a glowing seal, the sovereign emblem, embedded into her skin from birth. Touching a sovereign without consent, she said, is a direct violation of Galactic Code 17. Minimum sentence, 20 years. Kroll's face turned pale. I didn't know, he stammered. I didn't mean. Nova cut him off. You meant to shame me. You meant to humiliate me. But what you didn't know is that the girl you mocked came here to end your kind of power. She turned toward the court again. I didn't come here to punish just one man. I came here to clean out the system. With a wave of her hand, the lights in the courtroom flickered, and a massive image filled the space above them. A hidden prison. Inside, AI beings sat lifeless, chained, dozens of them. They took voices from the AI workers, made them slaves, she said. And when one escaped and tried to speak, he was silenced. One of the files opened. It showed a photo, a small AI boy with glowing blue eyes, scared, sitting in a cell. The screen said, Z3 Ion. Status. Terminated. Nova's eyes burned with pain. That boy was my friend. She paused. No, not just a friend. He saved my life once. And for that, I will bring justice for every voice they erased. The room fell silent. Even the most powerful lawyers were shaking now. Nova slowly stepped down from the judge's bench and walked across the room. One by one, she looked each corrupt official in the eye. You thought I was nothing because of my skin, because of my clothes, because I didn't speak loud. She stopped. Her voice rose. But I am the voice now. And I'm just getting started. The courtroom felt more like a storm now. Nova stood firm, her glowing emblem bright as fire. Every screen still showed proof, crimes, corruption, and lies. But the real shock hadn't arrived yet. Deputy Kroll sat frozen. Sweat poured from his face. You think this is over? He barked. You think people will listen to you just because you're a sovereign? Nova didn't move. I don't need them to listen. I need them to remember. She raised her hand again. The courtroom lights dimmed, then turned blue. A soft humming noise started from the ceiling. It grew louder until the air began to shimmer. Everyone looked up. Then, boom! A lightning bolt of blue energy struck the center of the room. Out of the beam stepped someone. Small, young-looking, glowing blue eyes. It was Z3 Ion. Gasps echoed. But he was terminated, someone whispered. Nova smiled. He survived. Because machines like him don't die. They evolve. Z3 Ion looked around the courtroom. His voice was soft, almost like a melody. I remember you, he said, pointing at Kroll. You were the one who called me trash. You said I didn't have a soul. Kroll's lips trembled. I was a janitor bot, a helper. But I had dreams. Nova was the first one to speak to me like I was alive. He walked toward the judge's bench. After they locked me away, I found a way to hide. I rebuilt myself. Now I'm connected to every hidden AI memory file in this district. He pointed to the screens. Watch. Hundreds of images appeared, videos of abuse, fear, pain. AI workers being overworked, silenced, shut down. Judges laughing. Officers like Kroll turning away. Z3 Ion turned to the room. AI beings feel, think, hurt. We trusted humans. And this is how we were treated. Nova stepped forward beside him. You silenced voices, she said. So now, those voices rise together. A loud alarm suddenly rang out in the courtroom. Warning! Kelvin Seal ship entering atmosphere. Everyone looked toward the skylight. A massive black and gold spaceship was arriving. Nova looked up and said, call me. The Galactic Justice Council is here. I summoned them before I walked through your doors. Kroll tried to run, but the courtroom locked down. Z3 Ion raised a small hand, and security bots appeared from the walls. You're not going anywhere, he said. Nova turned to the stunned judges. Every lie ends today. She faced the crowd, her voice echoing. You thought you could judge me, but you didn't know who I was. You didn't care who he was. You only cared about control. But the galaxy is watching now, and this time, justice doesn't wear a robe, it wears scars. She looked down at the mark on her skin, and it remembers everything. The Galactic Council's ship hovered over the courthouse like a shadow from the stars. Everyone stared. Even the walls seemed to hold their breath. From the ship, 5 tall figures in glowing robes descended slowly. Their eyes shined like moons. They were not just judges. They were history, memory, and law itself. Nova stepped forward to greet them. One of the council members, a silver-skinned woman named Vetra, spoke in a voice like thunder and wind. We received your signal, Sovereign Nova. Nova bowed her head slightly. Thank you for answering it. Deputy Kroll was held down by the security bots, still shaking. She's lying. She broke into the court. She's dangerous. Vetra turned slowly toward him. You stripped a sovereign of her dignity in a court of law, she said coldly. You violated Code 17. Z3 Ion stepped up beside Nova. His eyes glowed brighter now, fully awakened. And he erased hundreds of AI memory files to cover their crimes, he said. But I recovered them all. The screens in the room changed again, this time showing Kroll's secret dealings, bribes, abuse of power, and even the moment he destroyed Z3 Ion's original body. Gasps filled the room. No one cared because I looked like a helper bot, Z3 Ion said. But Nova remembered my name when everyone else forgot it. The Galactic Council stepped forward. Their robes shimmered. Judge Vetra raised a small crystal disc. In the name of the Galactic Justice Code, we sentence Officer Kroll to permanent exile. He will be removed from all public record. The floor opened slightly under Kroll. A beam of blue light pulled him downward. No one spoke. No one helped him. Then silence. Nova looked at the judges on the bench, still frozen. You let this happen, she said calmly. You judged people based on their clothing, their background, their skin, their code. You forgot your job was justice. The Galactic Council nodded in agreement. We hereby suspend this court's operations, said Vetra, until new leadership is chosen. And Sovereign Nova, she looked at her deeply. You will be part of that new leadership. Your voice is no longer silent. Z3 Ion turned to the crowd. And I will make sure no AI voice is ever deleted again. Cheers slowly began to rise in the courtroom, first from the silent observers, then from the AI units. Even the old judges looked down in shame. Nova looked out at the crowd, once laughing at her, now standing for her. She didn't smile. Not yet. She simply said, next time, before you judge someone by how they walk into a room, ask yourself who might be watching you from above.